football. You guys talked about practice today, what you guys did, and how things are going.
Practice was really good today. Yesterday was as well. Treating it like game week. We're within 10 days of playing. So today was a really good long practice, and our guys really got after it good. I thought we got a lot of good work done.
How's Jeremy looked in those 2-minute situations and other spots there?
He looked really well. I think just about, I'm trying to think, a handful of the ones we've done, just about every one we've gotten what we needed to win the game at the end. So sometimes you need a field goal, sometimes you need a touchdown. We give all different scenarios. But most of the times, we've been successful moving it down the field. At least either gotten the kick we needed or the touchdown we needed.
Because Nick was so crucial in those spots for you the last 2 years, how do you really go about forecasting or evaluating Jeremy with that, where you just haven't seen it on tape in a game spot yet?
Yeah, I mean, you really can't until you get in those situations. You just, you know that you believe in him, you trust him. He's always played well when he's in the game. Since I've known him, I've never thought that he was anything other than calm, and I never thought the moment was too big for him. So, I know when those situations come, he's going to be confident, he's going to play well.
How has Duke responded the last couple of weeks after being gone for that week?
Very well, very well. Doing everything we asked him to do, practicing hard, practicing well, just like all the other guys.
Still with the second team, and how's he dealing with that? Is he accepting it?
He's competing hard, and he's making plays, and he's doing a good job.
What's your view of the running back situation right now?
A lot of the same. Feel good about them all. Peyton and Rock are probably just because they got the most experience. But like I said, Javon's been getting better, and Carry On. He's a young guy. He's getting better. We're going to need all four of them, and they're all. We're going to plan on playing them all, and kind of seeing how that works itself out. But we think they all do a lot of things well, some different than others. Feel good about them all.
What's different about Rock being bigger now? Is it just the physicality that he's running with, confidence?
Yeah, hopefully having more weight will help keep him healthy through the season. He's not small. I mean, he's over 200 pounds, 5'11", 200-something pounds. Is a good size back. Some guys that run hard and violent and with a lot of cutting like them, sometimes you feel you're more concerned maybe about them, just their durability. But I think that's the number one thing that we're most excited about. We hope that'll help keep him healthy. And then two, it's probably given him confidence to be tougher. But he's been tough all fall camp. He's been great in pass protection. He's been great in short yardage situations. I mean, he's really grown up so far in practice from where he was in the spring.
Has he earned your trust to be the starting running back?
Right now, I trust them all. And again, we're not 10 days out. We haven't made that call yet.
Stanton Truitt continuing to make strides. Do you think he's going to contribute this year?
Yeah, Stanton will play a factor this year. I mean, he can really run, and you got a guy like him with a lot of speed. He's learning to play the position a little bit, but in high school he was kind of a do-it-all kind of athlete guy, and now he's kind of honing in on just trying to be an all-around wide receiver. And but he's got some things you can't coach. That speed's pretty tough to coach.
How about some of those second-line receivers like Tony Stevens and Myron Burton, second with the Y, second with the X? What do they kind of bring in?
Yeah, really competing well. The last 2 days we've thrown and caught the ball as well as we have in a while, which has been encouraging. And all those guys Tony's making plays. That's been a bright spot. Tony's been making plays at a more consistent level in practice. All the other guys we count on have been doing well. Jason Smith's doing a good job. And, even a guy like Darius Slayton and Ryan Davis, those young guys, you see now that things are kind of condensing and you're getting into more zeroing in on specific game plans. Those guys are playing faster.
Do you expect them to play, the two freshmen?
We're still going into it the assumption that we're preparing them to play, and it's probably too early to make that call. But we have not decided they're not going to play, and both of them have the talent to, and they're getting better. And as long as they're progressing like that, then it's our belief. And I just think you keep bringing them along because one, they may get to where they're ready to play, and two, you never know when you're going to need them. So it's too early probably to say they are or they're not. But we're playing on them knowing the game plan and being ready to play.
Is there a McKissick-style player? Not necessarily that you have to have 100 catches.
Right.
But, do you have a style player like that?
JD had his own style that was unique. Probably the two guys that would be the closest to that style, though, would probably be Jason Smith. Now, Jason's not as thick, but he's longer and probably a little faster straight ahead, whereas JD was real strong. And then, Ryan Davis may be a guy that grows into that kind of mold a little bit. That's a good question.
Have you been surprised at all by Jason, how fast Jason Smith is?
Not completely, because he played quarterback, But I will say I've been pleased with where he was when we ended spring. Of course, he only got about 10 practices at receiver in the spring, to how far along he was when we started fall camp. And I think that's made all the difference in the world from a confidence standpoint for him and us being able to continue his progression.
Melvin Ray continued to do great things after the catch that you've seen over the last couple of years, and you hope to get him the ball more.
You're saying Melvin's a speed demon and a guy after the catch that can really make a lot of yak? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. Melvin's steady, man. Melvin continues to do all the things we need him to do, and he's going to be a big part of what we're doing. Yeah, he's doing great.
Are you expecting Marcus Davis to kind of take on more of a leadership role as one of the older guys, since you do have a good bit of young receivers?
No doubt about it. Marcus is one of those guys we trust. He's a leader. I think he's ready for an expanded role. You got your seniors and you got Marcus, and those are the guys with the most experience, and those guys we're going to lean on.
Rhett, carry-ons miss a good bit of time in fall camp. A lot of times for freshmen, that signals kind of the end of them that first year. What's different about him that allows him to kind of stay in the mix?
I think, before he exited for a little bit, he was doing really well mentally. So already you felt like things were not too fast and there wasn't too much for him. He's entering back into getting reps. It's been more the same. He's doing a good job handling the mental part of it. And I think he did a good job, getting mental reps when he wasn't getting physical reps. But just so far he's doing well. So I think it's just when he showed up, he kind of already had that presence of, he's someone who can help us this year. And so as of right now, it's still our plan.
Brett, can you look to Louisville, and especially their front seven, some analytics out there about Sheldon Rankins and just how good he is against the run and things like that. What do you think of that matchup of him against those three interior guys who don't have a lot of experience last year, because Alex was out and Austin was out and all that?
Yeah, it's going to be key. I mean, he's really good. He's as good as advertised. Really, their front seven is definitely a strength. Their two linebackers are both really good players. The other D linemen, the ones that didn't start last year, all played 7, 8, 9 games. They play a lot of games. So they got a bunch of guys with experience, a bunch of guys with productivity. They were about as good as anybody last year, turning you over and getting after the passer. And they were really good against the run. So we got our hands full. You hope that our guys are ready to play, and then you hope as the game goes on you can, just wear on him a little bit. But he's really good. He's as good as advertised.
At center and left guard, whom would you like to make a decision on for starters?
Before we play. Before the first play, we got to pick. They're all doing a good job, and we're just not quite to that point yet, but obviously we're getting closer.
Coach Malzahn's mentioned that this preseason and the makeup of this team reminds him a lot of 2013. Do you agree with that, and in what facets do you believe that this team's a lot like that team?
I would think what he means, and I do agree with the fact that our guys are just, they're coming out there going to work. They don't care who's getting the ball. They don't care who's getting the credit. They're just working. And they're responding to the coaching. They're trying to do everything we ask them to do. They're competing both sides, competing. There seems to be that sense of hunger a little bit, and which there should be after the way we finished. And that's probably where that's coming from him. And I agree.
Rhett, we've heard from you and Coach Malzahn and Coach Feynman that you guys feel comfortable with both Cameron and Chandler. So what's really, do you think, will be the deciding factor when he gets more reps with anybody?
They're both going to play, and probably like the running backs, you just got to kind of get, again, we've got 3 true returning starters back, probably 5 guys on the offense that have played considerable amount of reps. After that, we got a lot of guys who have played here or there or not played at all that we think are really talented, but until we get in front of 80, 90, 100,000 people and play and see how they react, our guess is almost as good as yours. I mean, we have maybe a little better because we see them practice all day, but until they do it. So both those guys are going to play.
Saying my playbook doesn't come in handy?
Do what?
And the playbook doesn't come
What
in handy?
playbook? So, I think the thing is, they both right now being younger guys. Cameron's a year older. He's been here in redshirt, so physically he's a year ahead. It helped Chandler have in the spring. There's certain things they do better, but they both can do it all pretty well. They're both going to play, and then we'll just, like we do every year, as we get going through the season, we'll see what does he do better, how can he help us better, but they're both going to play.
Kind of an introspective question, but how would you say you as a coach have developed and changed these last 2-3 years?
That is a good one. I wasn't ready for that one. I think sometimes, I think just learning, you've got to learn what your guys can do. And you can only do so much in a week in a game plan. And I think as an offensive coach, sometimes we always want to have an answer for everything. We want to have multiple answers for everything. Well, what if they do this? What if they do this? What if they do this? And you can get so gung-ho and having a great play call sheet, you know, with a lot of great answers, but then how many can you really, you know, execute well? Because at the end of the day, no matter how you do your call sheet, you go into a game, you always have probably 30% of those calls were called. The other 70 are just sitting there. And so I think just being able to trust on the front end to do your preparation, make the plan, make it as specific as you can, not have it too big, have answers for the things you need, but not be too broad with it, and I think commit to it. And then what that allows you to do is you get in the game adjust, because you don't have overload on the kids. They can play fast, and now they can make adjustments in game.
Do you keep track of the career paths of other Broyles Award finalists like yourself? Last couple of years?
I don't. Now, I mean, there's some of the guys now, if you ask, that I know where they're at and become friends with, but I don't. I got plenty of things I got to deal with. I don't have time for that.
All right,